Hello everybody, welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel, and we are gonna look at really stupid shit right now. Because do you guys remember the Tuah girl? Well, she's going to jail. She's done a bad thing. She's done a very bad thing. And it's big. She apparently made her own Bitcoin. So I can't believe that's actually a thing. That's what we're actually talking about here. We've also got one other thing to look at called the ridiculous failure of Target Canada, which I miss Target. I miss Target up here. Target was great. I have to say, Target was amazing, and I wish it hadn't gone, because they had way better prices and they had way better stuff and snacks and things like that. Like, they had awesome shit at Target. I understand why Americans love Target. I really do. I'm going to quickly pull up chat real fast over here. And we are going to... Oh, stop. Okay. Search. No, not G.I. Joe or Transformers. Why do my children use my account for G.I. Joe and Transformers? Huh? It does? Well then. Hello, Cannibalistic Wizard. I'm glad it notified you this time. That is a good thing. Okay. YouTube hates blind people. I understand. There we go. What did I just do? There we go. That's what I just did. Okay. So, before we get into the main bulk of our craziness, let's look at our Target video. I want to see what this is about. Because I really do miss Target. It was here for a grand total of, I think, a year and a half. It did feel like 8 months, but it was more like a year and a half. Because it lasted for the first bunch of our oldest life. So, yep. Thank you, Walmart. That was very nice of you to take away the Target. So, you know what? It would help if I put it on the correct live scene. There we go. Okay. Now I know what I'm doing. I usually don't know what I'm doing, but okay, here we go.
Target. If you live in America especially, you're probably very familiar with Target. They're one of the largest retailers in the nation, and arguably the principal competitor to Walmart. Target is known...
It did, sure? Good.
For being a bit more upscale for a big box store. Their stores are generally a lot nicer, and their products are a bit more expensive, but again, nicer. They're not super expensive. And
no, they weren't, like, I would say they were either on par with Walmart or sometimes a little better
Do
than
offer
Walmart.
certain deals on certain things with a wide varying selection, but people like going to them because, frankly, they're just not Walmart anymore.
better
Is kind of the
quality.
deal. Now, Target's story is long, like way longer than you'd think. The origin
Pardon? Their stuff was made in Vietnam.
of what would become Target go all the way back to 1902. But we're not really talking about Target in this video. I mean, we are, but we're going to zero in on a subsidiary of Target. Target Canada. You know,
Why does everybody sing our country's name? It's always very strange. It's a little tangent I'm going to go on. Why does everybody sing our country's name? They're not necessarily part of our country when they do it either. They're just Canada, and they always do it that way. Canada.
Canada. Hockey and Tim Hortons and Moose. That Canada. Our northern neighbors that we get along with pretty well in America, all things considered. We don't really have any major issues between each other. We get along and hang out. And everything's happy. Everything's wonderful. But there are some key differences between the United States and Canada that Target didn't really consider. Because, as you can imagine, Target Canada, as a subsidiary of the Target Corporation, was meant to be the company's introduction to Canada.
You think?
And this seems like a reasonable thing to do, because if you're an American company and you're going international, going to Canada seems like a logical step. It's right there. The cultural differences between the United States and Canada aren't that vast, and they share a continent, a border, a very long border. They're right there. So it's not an unreasonable thing to do. Walmart did it, and they've been doing pretty well up in Canada. But Target didn't really have a good go at this at all. Like, it was bad. It was really bad. But why? What did they do wrong here? Target was heavily delayed getting themselves into Canada in the first place, partially due to some trademark issues. See, Target isn't exactly an original name. It's one word, and it's a common word.
That's true. Anything could be Target. That is very true. It's just one.
A Target refers to, a Target.
Right.
The big box chain weren't the only ones trying to utilize the name in Canada. There was a variety store chain located in Newfoundland and Labrador that operated in the 1980s and early 90s, and there was even a liquor store named Target Liquor located in Edmonton. There was also a convenience store chain named Target based in Toronto. The point is, a lot of other smaller companies were utilizing the Target brand, and Target Corporation wanted to solidify their rights to the name before they actually entered the country.
See, that's a bit of a lump that I didn't know about. That Target Canada wanted to trademark Target before it got in here, but there were a bunch of different things that were using the Target brand already.
As a result, they had to buy the trademark rights from several of these existing users and filing new applications for the name on their own. But it wasn't just stores using their name. It was also clothing. See, one of the big benefits of going to Target over, say, Walmart...
That's true. I think I actually even had a Target hoodie from Roots at one point.
Is it...
Yeah.
Target likes using their in-house brands.
And the Target backpacks from Roots. I remember those.
That they own. Therefore, they can not only make more of a profit, but also be more heavily involved in quality control, and while at the same time making more of a profit, also actually offer these things at a lower price than you'd otherwise get because, again, they own them, they're their brands. But some of the brands were under the Target name. But the Canadian trademark, Target Apparel, had been registered in 1981 by a company named Dilex Limited. Now, that retailer had been defunct since the early 2000s, and the rights to that trademark were acquired in 2001 by Fairweather Limited.
Yep,
They utilized it
Fairweather.
the same way the actual
Good old
Target was
Fairweather.
utilizing the name as a private label clothing brand. Eventually, though, they did open a small Target apparel retail store adjacent to their head office in December of 2003. And Fairweather got a little scummy when it came to this, because the second Target announced in late 2010 that they wanted to expand into Canada,
No.
Fairweather turned right around and started expanding their Target apparel banner to other higher profile locations just to mess with Target. Target then...
fuck off. That's crazy. So Target was supposed to come in here before... this is funny. Oh no, we
had to
lost
challenge their rights to the
I guess
Target
I'm not
apparel
actually
trade name.
covering Hawk
Though at
Tuah
first,
yet.
Fairweather managed to retain the rights, since they did legally acquire them. It wasn't like they were using the name unlawfully. Technically speaking, in Canada, they did have the rights to that brand, even though in America, Target did. But by February of 2012, they finally did reach an agreement, the details of which aren't exactly clear, but Fairweather did agree to stop using the name by 2013.
They're like, okay, we'll stop using Target, we promise.
And frankly, to me, this just implies that Target gave them just a whole bunch of money to get them to stop.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, I'll stop now.
Yeah, thanks for all the money, Target. We'll stop doing the shitty behavior now.
In between all this legal hassle, Target had been rumored to be wanting to get into Canada since the early 2000s. They didn't really start
Holy
getting
shit.
around to it until 2011. On January 13th
Yeah,
of
that's
that
true.
year, they announced their plans to purchase the lease agreements of up to 220 stores under the Zellers name.
Yep, because Zellers was going so badly at that point. Zellers was on its way out, which really sucks because Zellers was great. Zellers was another really
Now,
good store.
Zellers is a name that most of my Canadian audience probably does know. They were a chain of Canadian discount stores that was founded all the way back in 1931. The
Holy
chain
shit,
peaked with
Zellers was
350
that old?
locations in 1999, but by the 2010s they had been on a steep decline. Target realized they could use the previous infrastructure and locations to
Yep.
their advantage.
Yep,
and
the Target that was in our local mall back in the other city we lived in was a Zellers location. They just turned it into the Target.
wound up purchasing the lease agreements from the Zellers company for $1.825 billion.
That's a
It was
lot
a
of
huge
money.
acquisition, though it did help Hudson's Bay Company, HBC, which was Zellers' parent company.
Yep.
HBC wound up retaining 64 Zellers locations, but by 2012 they announced that even those would also be liquidated. And as far as I'm able to tell, you can't find standalone Zellers stores anymore. Though Hudson's Bay department stores
That's
do
funny
still exist,
coincidence.
and they've decided to reintroduce the brand as a store within a store concept in 2023, which I hate. Seriously, how many times do these dead franchises do store within a store? I don't like it. I just, it feels stupid
It
to me.
yeah.
But sometimes it does work, so whatever.
What? Yeah, that they have. It's not working though.
Zellers is their own story. Got completely off track, sorry about that. But with Target taking over the leases, it meant they could do whatever they wanted with the property, within the confines of the lease, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant retooling those Zellers locations into brand new Target locations. Excellent, excellent. And this isn't a bad strategy. Not only did they not have to build a new building, but they were purchasing other big box locations. Like, they already had the space in there. They just had to remodel them
Yeah.
into Target.
Yeah, they didn't have to build from the ground up. They just had to like
Spirit Halloween.
yeah, basically Spirit Halloween the shit. Yes.
Rather than Zellers. One of the complaints with Zellers, especially towards the end, is that they kind of became Canadian Kmart. In the sense that, yeah, they
Kmart
offered
was
some
also great.
deals
Shut
on
up.
occasion. They were cheap, but also inside was really gross and dingy. But Target is the opposite of that. Target likes to make sure their stores are always nice, and that was one of the first praises when Target wound up opening, and that they were way nicer inside than the old Zellers had been. So they did a great job with the remodel. But the whole thing wasn't perfect. Remember when I talked about Woolworths and their little big box experiment Woolco? And how Walmart had acquired a whole bunch of Woolco stores? Well, Walmart had done that for their entry into Canada. That was back in '94. And when Walmart bought Woolco, they actually retained the old staff that was already working at those locations, which was actually really nice of them.
Yeah, that is very surprisingly nice of Walmart to retain all the Woolco staff that they've bought out. That was very generous of
those people weren't
Walmart.
losing their jobs. They were working for a different company, but they kept them around. That was really chill. But Target acquiring Zellers wasn't the case. And technically speaking, all the employees were laid off, though they were given the opportunity to reapply for their position to continue work. Some did get their jobs back, though some didn't. Target would go on record saying that former Zellers workers were guaranteed an interview, but they weren't guaranteed a job.
Oh, that's kind of shitty of Target.
The United Food and Commercial Workers Union of Canada would complain about this, pointing out that plenty of employees that had been working for Zellers, some for years, had not been rehired when they feel like they should have been. Regardless of this controversy, the first Target stores in Canada were finally opened on March 5th, 2013, over in Ontario. And that was a strategic decision because they were close to one of Target Canada's 3 distribution centers.
Makes sense. I was gonna say also because Ontario is the biggest province, but the closest being closest to the 3 main distribution centers.
But distribution was one of their earliest issues. Target Canada had serious supply chain problems, like really bad supply chain problems. And the thing is, when it comes to big box chains especially, supply chains are everything. Getting product to the location is mission critical.
Yeah.
That was one of the big benefits of Walmart, and one of the reasons why they did so well, because their supply chain infrastructure was second to none. Now, in America, Target supply chains are really good too.
But it's
they compete pretty well with Walmart in this regard. But their Canada outing was not the same type of situation. They had huge, massive issues getting products to their stores, and even though that problem existed and was known, remember, Target Canada is a subsidiary, and as a subsidiary, they have to bow to the parent company.
Oh, that's also true. If you're not the actual boss company, then you've got to do what boss says.
And the parent company didn't want to delay the opening date to fix the supply chain issues, so they opened the stores knowing that issue existed, and as a result, a lot of the stores, when they ran out of product, just kind of ran out of product. That they weren't able to get what they needed in a timely manner. Very similar to Kmart. Another issue they ran into was, remember, they had bought a lot of the Zellers leases, and they planned wholeheartedly to utilize those leases. They opened a ton of locations very quickly. Normally, it's advisable.
They had the S'mores Ritz crackers. S'mores Ritz Bits crackers. Oh my god. I swear to god. Somebody that worked for Oreo got really pissed off and went to work for Ritz and gave them the idea of Ritz Bits S'mores and secretly gave them the Oreo cookie recipe. Because that's literally what they taste like. They taste like mini Oreo cookies.
Especially when you're having supply chain issues, to ease into any new market. Test the waters, make sure it's okay. Have one really good location that you know is in a good spot and see how it does. Don't just go ham and open up a whole bunch all over the place.
It's
well,
fun.
they went ham, is what they did. By 2015, they had 133 locations. They opened over 100 stores within 2 years in a brand new market that they really weren't sure was going to work while they were having supply chain problems.
Sounds great. It's no wonder that sometimes when we would go for diapers, we had to go somewhere else because they didn't have diapers.
You already can't
Somewhere else in the same mall.
supply the stores you have, and you're opening more. Now, I understand they did buy a whole bunch of leases, and in this situation, they'd still be paying for the leases even if they didn't open the stores. So I believe the logic here was, well, if we get the stores open, we can at least start making some money. And yeah, that makes sense. Also, though, you would then be spending a whole bunch of money on remodeling those stores and staffing those stores, and then only making your supply chain issues worse, because now you have to figure out how to supply all these other stores when you can't even supply your core ones.
Yeah. How are you gonna supply all the stores when you can't even supply the ones you've already opened?
Do you see the disconnect here? Well, they didn't. Or, they might have. Because Target Canada's president was a man named Tony Fisher. And to be honest, Fisher did a pretty good job. Now you'd be saying, well, you just said there's supply chain issues and all this other hubbub. How can you say Tony Fisher was a good leader? Well, because he was operating with his hands tied behind his back. He was subservient to whatever corporate wanted him to do. They gave him very strict, very clear goals. But the goals were completely unrealistic given what he was dealing with. He did the best he could in a really stupid situation. And he tried his best in most regards. But as he put it, the Canadian market was not the same as the American market.
You think? It's quite a lot smaller than the American market, first of all.
It wasn't just the supply chain. If it was just that, they probably could have worked it out. In fact, Fisher would eventually wind up working out the supply chain problems. That was mostly a non-factor by 2014. But do you want to know what was always a factor? Canada being filthy communists!
Oh, come on.
Hey, that's not true exactly.
It's
but Canada
not true.
does have a lot more of a socialism element to it. I think most of us are aware of that. They have government-issued healthcare, for example, and that's really nice, because free healthcare, we like that. Also, that costs money, and there are a lot of different taxes and fees that go along with operating in Canada that don't apply here in America.
That is true. There are different taxes. The tax structure is different up here than it is in the States.
One of the issues that Target Canada was running into was pricing. Their prices were often much higher than not only their immediate competitors in Canada, but also American Target.
Yeah.
Which, why? Why would you be charging more for the same thing when American Target isn't doing that? And in fact, many customers that lived close to the border
Pardon?
would cross the border to shop at American Target and not even bother going to the Canadian version because of this. But Fisher explained that everything that goes into running a business, whether it be the supply chains, whether it be the staffing, whether it be the stocking, everything that goes into operation was just more expensive in Canada. He would say, quote, transportation costs are higher, distribution costs are higher, fuel costs are higher, wage rates vary across the country, the tax rates are different, cost of goods are different, the duties. I think the scale we have here in Canada is quite different from the incredibly different, densely populated U.S. marketplace.
Yep.
Basically, everything was more expensive in Canada. It was as simple as that. And because everything was more expensive, that meant operating costs were more expensive. And if operating costs are more expensive, that means your overhead costs are more expensive. And if your overhead costs are more expensive, you have to charge more for the product in order to actually attempt to make a profit. That was their issue. And it wasn't something they could do really anything about. What were they going to do about that? It was just the way Canada was.
It's the way Canada still is. Canada is still like that. Just way worse than it was because of the fucking carbon tax and shit now.
Brand new SAP inventory software system to help with the supply chain issues. But the staff weren't properly trained on the system, and the system wasn't perfect and had bugs, which only compounded getting product into the stores. And even when they did, it was more expensive than basically everywhere else. And for the Canadian shoppers, that extra cost wasn't necessarily worth it, especially when they could cross the border to go to Target in America, or go to
back in the good old days when you didn't need a goddamn passport to go shop in the States.
Canada has their own chains. Pre-established chains that are known and trusted. Zellers may have gone under, but that didn't mean...
Huh?
That really did hurt our economies.
Yep. Yep, it did.
Everybody did. And even Walmart was established by this point. People knew them in Canada and knew what they had and knew they could go there. Walmart had worked through the pricing issue and did make it a point to undercut Target in many aspects.
Yeah,
While
they
Target
did.
Canada had a pretty strong opening, they fell off very quickly. So bad was this fall off that they dragged down their own parent company's second quarter results. It was awful.
Ooh.
The issue seemed to be that while many Canadian shoppers gave them a chance immediately, which explains the high traffic at first, they weren't returning often enough. They had a significant issue with customer retention. Many people went to Target, saw the prices, and said, yeah, I'm just gonna go not here.
I'm
And
gonna
they
go
did that.
elsewhere. I'm gonna go to the Zehrs that's in the same place as this Zellers location
Target
used to
Canada's
be.
strategy was also a little bit too, well, American, honestly. See, like many big box stores, they went for the one-stop shopping, and they modeled themselves based on that. But Canadians don't really shop this way. Big boxes still exist up there, like I said, Walmart does, but Canadian customers have a habit of picking and choosing between different strengths of retailers. They're still very old school in their shopping approach, in that they'll shop around. They'll go to multiple different places and go to wherever the best deals are to save money.
Yep. That's how we shop. Is it more expensive over here? Well, fuck that. I'm going over here. Does the Canadian Tire have the cat food sale this week, or does the grocery store have the cat food sale this week? Does the Walmart have the cat litter? God damn it, Walmart has the cat litter. Fuck. That's
It was noted that Canadians would even carry
never
in
buy the cat litter from Walmart.
shopping bags from competitors because they came from there. That's just how Canadians like to shop. Whereas in America, I guess we're a bit more lazy and just like going to one place. And while Target's remodeling of the old Zellers locations was praised because, yeah, they were a lot nicer, Zellers had been way cheaper. They had offered pretty good deals, which Target absolutely could not do. The pricing seemed to be their biggest problem. Even when they got the supply chain issue sorted, people just weren't buying the stuff because it was more expensive. In some cases, Walmart absolutely...
Yeah, so I do actually miss Target. That was a good year that we had the Target.
dumped them into the dirt on this issue, undercutting Target by as much as 65% on popular items through their rollback program. Analysts looking over the situation believe that Target Corporation, the parent company, just expected too much from Canada way too quickly. They projected that Canadian operations would bring in 10% of their overall profit by 2017, but none of this took into account demographic differences, as well as differences in shopping habits, but also domestic competition. It wasn't like they only had to worry about Walmart. I mean, Walmart was bad enough, but there were plenty of other Canadian retailers that people were way more familiar with, and in some cases more loyal to. All this on top of a major security breach the company
Canadian
suffered
Tire,
in
for
January
example.
2014 meant that the CEO of the parent organization, Greg Steinhoffel, would resign. 2 weeks after that, Tony Fisher, president of Target Canada, was dismissed and replaced by a man named Mark Schindel. Though, as I said, Fisher really wasn't at fault here. He was given tasks and goals that were completely unreasonable for anybody to get to. The blame for all this stands way more with Target Corporation rather than Fisher. Though it is worth mentioning that while they did replace Fisher, the man who replaced Steinhoffel, Brian Cornell, as CEO of Target Corporation, had been hired from outside the company. And when he got there, he was already pretty against Target Canada. He didn't like that there was this black hole on their expense reports.
Well, as a business person, you're not going to like that there's a giant black hole in an expense
just
report.
Weren't making money there, and if they weren't making
That's
money there,
like
he thought it was
antithetical
best
to
cut it
business.
off. But he did give Schindel the chance to improve things, though made it perfectly clear that if he didn't, very quickly, he was gonna shut things down. And frankly, that's exactly what happened. Within just a year, January 15th, 2015, after a holiday season that just didn't do very well, which is always a bad sign for any retailer, Target Canada was forced to announce that it would commence court-supervised restructuring proceedings under the company's Creditors Arrangement Act. Now, maybe you don't know what that means, and I understand.
They're declaring
it's
bankruptcy,
called the CCAA,
basically.
and it's a statute of the Parliament of Canada that allows insolvent corporations owing their creditors in excess of $5 million to restructure their business and financial affairs. And you might be sitting there thinking, you mean bankruptcy? And basically, yeah, honestly, in effect, just in Canada, because they don't want to say the word bankruptcy because it's scary. Actually, that's a joke. They do have bankruptcy in Canada. The CCAA is similar,
Hey,
but a little
Southern
bit different.
what's
Regardless, though, we'll just consider it a similar thing because the result is the same. It was basically Chapter
We're
7
learning about Target Canada's failure, and then we're gonna learn about the Tuah girls' failure.
They announced plans to close all 133 stores.
What?
And 2 new store openings were canceled. During these proceedings, crunching the numbers, they realized how much of a disaster Target Canada really had been. From the beginning to the end in 2015, the subsidiary had lost Target Corporation $2.1 billion.
Ouch.
And based off of the growth they were seeing, the
$2.1
little there was,
billion
they weren't
loss.
projected to make
Woo.
any profit until at least 2021. That's horrid. It was so bad that they wouldn't have been able to meet their employees' payroll for the week of January 16th, 2015,
Oh, God.
had it not filed for the court protections, which is why they did it, and they were able to pay their workers. But
Oh,
the following
good.
day after the filing, liquidation sales immediately began. They began closing stores on March 18th, and they were all shut down by April 12th.
That was a sad day. A sad day
They sold
when
off
Target
releases.
died.
A few even went to Walmart, which is hilarious. And since that time, Target really hasn't attempted to touch Canada again. It just didn't seem like a good idea. They did briefly offer Canadian shoppers a way to buy from them, though. In October of 2015, after all the stores were shut down, they began offering international shipping on goods sold online, which meant that Canadian shoppers could simply go on Target's website and buy from them that way. Prices were converted to Canadian dollars, excluding the duties and taxes. But that only lasted about 5 years or so. In February of 2020, Target opted to discontinue all international
Thank you,
shipping
COVID.
options, meaning that Canadians can no longer buy from them effectively. The only way to do so is to cross the border and shop at the American locations. And some Canadians still do that. The ones that live close enough to the border do on
And the ones
occasion
that
make that
hold
an
a
option.
passport.
But Target hasn't made a serious attempt at it again.
The ones that live closest to the border and hold a passport.
Because, frankly, it just went so badly. Billions of dollars in the hole. All for a profit of nothing. They got nothing out of this. It was awful. It was a disaster. It was so bad that Robert Modem, who was a Toronto-based playwright, spent 2 years interviewing former Target Canada employees so he could actually put on a stage performance within an empty Target store, retelling the tale in theater, which...
Jesus Christ. That's only an artist can come up with that shit. Only an artiste can come up with that
That's
bullshit.
great, though. That is phenomenal. That's how bad it was, though. Like, it was infamous. And it's attached to a known and successful brand like Target. You'd think going in they'd have the good sense to do this correctly. They're able to duke it out with Walmart here in America. People love Target here in America. But Canada's just not quite the same. We have more things in common than differences, sure. I think in terms of international relations and cultural relations, Canada and the United States are one of the best examples of two countries that almost always get along really well, especially over the last century or so. But there are differences that Target did not account for whatsoever when they did this. They expanded way too quickly, did not think supply chains were that big a deal when they absolutely are, and didn't think about, we're charging a lot for this stuff. Maybe we should find a way to not do that.
Yeah. How about we make sure we actually have stuff on our shelves and not charge out the ass
Especially
for
when you
it.
have entrenched competition and a consumer culture that's still centered around the idea of spending a whole day shopping to find the best deals. Target Canada's biggest problem is that basically always, they never had the best deals. Everyone else did. So why would anyone keep going there? Sure, the stores were nice, and many of the products were too. It gets to a point where a certain group of people just won't pay for certain things.
Yeah. They won't pay for certain things, or they will pay for certain
They'll
things.
go elsewhere, and maybe not get the same product, but something close enough, much cheaper. Target didn't figure out a way around this, and didn't bother to before investing billions into the project. Billions that they had no hope of getting back.
Yeah. No hope of recovering. No hope whatsoever of getting any of that money back, and that was their downfall. That was their fucking idiocy. Oh boy, are we ready? Are we ready to find out about the Tuah token launch? Cause she made a token. She made a freaking token. And this is gonna be insane. I can't believe she actually made a fucking token. Let's see here. Let's take a look.
Everybody loves memes and everybody loves crypto scams. So why don't we take the crypto scams and turn them into memes?
Oh boy.
Undeniable logic.
Yes.
That's precisely where the industry is at right now, and one of the biggest possible examples ever just happened in real time. Brace yourselves for a banger of a CoffeeZilla video on it soon, because the
Yeah. I heard he got into a space with her and they muted him. That's what Pink Hollow said.
Tuah girl, overnight famous after she said Tuah during a random interview and the internet decided to just obsess over it. The Tuah girl offered up her own crypto token, which went to a $500 million valuation almost instantly before cratering and basically losing everyone's money, except the insiders. They all kind of got rich. Actually, side note, she has the third most popular podcast in the entire United States.
Forget spitting on that thing. I heard she farts on it too. Oh, what's up, Sparky?
Which I did not know before making this video. It's behind Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan. She's third, which is kind of insane when you think about it. But
fuck off. She's third behind Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson.
I didn't realize she was actually that popular. So
podcast.
This kind of all makes a little bit more sense in that context. Massive influencer, crypto token, rug pull scam, everybody loses money, right? When you put it in that lens, like, makes a lot more sense. But yeah, I realized that after scripting the video, so I added in postscript. Continuing. I'm not going to make this one overly complicated with the tokenomics or the blockchain analysis type stuff because that'll come later. Somebody is definitely catching charges over all of this. We just don't know who it is yet. So. And there's going to be plenty of people picking through the ledgers and tracking down wallets in the coming days. However, since I just got done listening to a Twitter Spaces, which is a really stupid format for discussing anything, but it is what it is.
It really is. It sounds like garbage most of the time.
I just got done listening to one of those like Twitter podcasts about everything, where the founders of the token desperately flail around trying to defend themselves. And because the absurdity of the entire situation is through the roof, I wanted to do a sort of tip of the spear take on how Tuah just became one of the most flagrant crypto scams in modern history.
Okay.
Here it is. Tuah, the token at least called Hawk, was apparently offered by a Cayman Islands legal foundation, which is supposedly how these things are done so that they can offer the tokens under a proper regulatory framework. Seems fine. Actually, to be completely honest, that sounds a whole lot more like evading the law as opposed to following it, but that's an opinion, just to be clear. Not sure what exactly the foundation's name is, there's a lot of them, but structuring the token in a way that isn't just point blank illegal here domestically in the United States seems like at least maybe an okay start. Not that it ultimately made a difference, but whatever. According to pretty much every single media publication who covered this, and according to the apparent founders themselves, while they desperately tried to downplay things and make it seem like they didn't just rug pull the entire community for millions of dollars, a percentage of the entire token supply, they say 17% a few times, so we'll go with that, was offered to insiders through the use of SAFTs, which stands for Simple Agreement for Future Tokens.
Okay.
But those insiders, who were given millions of dollars, many millions of dollars worth of these tokens well in advance, had no lockup period, as it's called, which basically means they could sell whenever they wanted to.
Oh, so they could be given these safe for agreement transfer tokens and just turn around and sell them right away?
Well, within minutes of the token launching, as everyday people were hyped up and buying in and driving the price higher and higher, basically her community thinking that they could get rich, those insiders began selling pretty much all of them.
Away.
And what resulted was a token that rose to a $500 million market cap in minutes, only to come crashing back down, wiping out untold millions in the process, and earning someone, we don't know precisely who at this point, someone earned millions of dollars in transaction fees as well. Another aspect of this is called sniping, which means bots that rapidly buy out token supply directly at launch, then contributing to the rug pull soon after, which absolutely happened here as well. Here's an example of a bot wallet that purchased roughly $1 million worth of the token within seconds and then proceeded to dump it all on the community soon after.
That's crazy. $1 million in a minute. That's nuts.
On top of the insiders who were also
no wonder
selling,
that's
so
a bot.
Double whammy. But the team behind this token claims to have tried to stop these snipers from having so much of an effect. Clearly, it didn't work. Snipers had a monumental impact alongside pre-sale investors, snapping up huge amounts of the token and overall exacerbating the disaster. But I did want to mention that this isn't just a standard rug pull. It's also an abject failure of design. So that's fun. It's pretty cut and dry if you think about it. Failed management, rug pull, classic scam in the end overall. However, it gets more interesting than that because according to Bubble Maps, which is a tool for visualizing crypto holdings, posted by the actual social media account for that tool, like the company that makes it, there was a graph put out showcasing that 97% of the entire token supply in total belonged to a single cluster of interconnected wallets.
Oh shit. That's not good. That's not good at all.
Incidentally, the same cluster that was non-stop selling and cratering the price. And the primary wallets that were sniping, by the way, as well. You can see this one, the one that I gave as an example prior, which begins with HII ending with RNN, which is number 12 on the Bubble Maps graph in the cluster identified. That's pretty bad off rip, making
that does not look good.
A token offering millions in a pre-sale, having zero lockup, and then letting those investors or insiders rather dump everything on the community as soon as it goes live is bad by itself, 100%. But what makes it all so much more hilarious and terrible, I know people just lost money, but forgive me if my sympathy isn't that high for the crypto gambling addicts who lost their life savings on a meme coin called Hawk Tuah.
Yeah.
Okay, at a certain point you have to take responsibility for your poor decisions. But the thing that really dials it up a notch is how Haley Welsh, the girl behind the meme, and her managers maybe, or the people who helped her launch the token, or at least insiders who felt like they needed to explain themselves, went public on a Twitter Spaces trying to explain everything. It was a complete disaster, and I have to laugh a little bit when I think about the lawyers who will inevitably be involved in all this, listening back.
Yeah, why would you go on a Twitter space to talk about something like this? That's just not a good idea.
Back and just being completely
It just makes you
by how
look
stupid
worse.
These people are. But primarily this guy right here, Doc Hollywood, and also this guy named Over Here, who apparently may be the person or entity who actually launched the damn thing, go on this yapping spree, like non-stop yapping, while saying basically nothing, and just digging themselves a grave over how it's unfortunate that this happened, but it's all about community, guys. There's one part, I'm not kidding, okay? I'm being entirely serious here. There's one part where the Doc Hollywood guy literally says, "You should be kissing my ass because I'm trying to give tokens to people."
Oh, fuck you. Ew, that's not, no. I'm sorry. You're
Okay.
giving away
He goes on to say,
nothing.
"I don't care
Thank
about
you.
the price. It could go to zero for all I care. but I'm trying to get people interested in crypto. Maybe they go on to
Yep,
be
you're
interested
the
in
guy who's
other meme
stealing it
coins
all.
after this. I was in disbelief listening to these clowns. And it got even better because Haley Welsh decided to let CoffeeZilla on stage to speak, and he immediately began grilling them about what happened, who made money, and why they made certain decisions. Well, they couldn't let that keep happening, obviously, so they muted him. They just didn't let him talk, or they tried to talk over him. Pretty sure they ended up kicking him out after that because he said, I think I can explain what happened here, and they probably panicked when he said that.
Yeah. Because, you know, CoffeeZilla isn't stupid. So he's like, I bet you I know exactly what happened. And they're like, oh shit.
But pretty much every single person that they let speak just
let 'em
roasted
talk.
them, ending with probably the best moment of the entire night, which was when some random guy started asking questions about the transaction fees or who profited, and Haley Welsh just pieces the fuck out. Bedtime.
So I'm sort of curious, like, not for the token price itself, but just in terms of the
God,
fact
the
that there's
sound
fees that
quality's
are
so
being
bad.
generated, there's an actual, like,
Hey
source
guys,
of income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
People are genuine.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Huh?
There's an actual, like,
Hey
source
guys,
of income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
People
What the I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't ask me any more questions.
are genuinely right now filing complaints with the SEC already. This isn't just another oopsie
Good.
crypto scam that gets lost in the crowd. This was a viral internet personality. Again, I'm putting this in postscript. I didn't realize how popular she is. Third most listened to podcast in the entire country, right? That's absurd to me. But anyway,
I bet
this
you
was
most of it's hate watch.
currently not was a viral internet personality with a token launch that capped out at $500 million with a B, $500 million in value. And people in her community, many thousands of them, lost pretty much everything they put in because of how the offering was structured.
Yeah.
Now, CoffeeZilla made some accusations about insider trading directly linked to the creator's account, which I can't personally verify, but I do take his word at face value now. I think he has a well-earned reputation for calling it right on the basis of crypto scams. So if he says it, I just straight up believe him. I'll be honest about that. And if true, that is jail time. Whoever did it, whoever made money from it, they will face charges because the scale of this one is large enough to where regulators absolutely will come down on them.
Oh, for sure. This much money in play? They can't ignore that.
Make an example. The children on pump.fun, like literally children, 12, 13 years old. I have a whole video about that disaster, which I'll link down below. That's a completely different thing. But the actual kids who are rug pulling like $30,000 or $50,000 on random meme coins with small market caps, they probably won't face any charges or accountability, unfortunately, because the sheer volume of criminal wrongdoing here is off the charts. And the SEC doesn't have the resources required to prosecute even a tiny fraction of it. But what they are doing is headhunting. They want to find people and make examples out of them.
You didn't
Icarus
send it.
type situation. Fly too close to the sun, get burned. And this right here is way too close to the sun. Somebody is gonna get burned. By the way, while making this video, I also shot a DM to CoffeeZilla because as I was listening to the space and
What? What have I just learned about what? I thought you've been watching. I've been learning, I've learned a bunch of the economic stuff going on. I've learned that I learned that she pieced out when somebody asked her what about the price. What? Okay.
Today we're breaking down the Hawk Tuah scam, exactly how it happened, and I'm gonna confront the people behind it. Well, I did last night. And let me just say, it didn't go very well.
Be happy to answer any
I have questions. I have questions. I'm raising my hand. Hey, guys.
What CoffeeZilla?
Hey, this is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
What?
Today we're breaking down the Hawk Tuah scam, exactly how it happened, and I'm going to confront the people behind it. Well, I did last night. And let me just say, it didn't go very well.
Be happy to answer any
I have questions. I have questions. I'm raising my hand. Hey, guys.
What CoffeeZilla?
What?
Hey.
CoffeeZilla? What? What is it?
Hey, this is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
Okay,
And
then
I've
why
been
the fuck are you on?
Profiting from the rug pull, I think it's relevant.
We didn't pull a rug. I don't know what you're trying to say. It's
Oh my lord, I hate Twitter Spaces
not
audio.
true. Yeah, that's defamation.
Stop.
You're saying
Do the math. Do the math.
Defamation. You're saying that we pulled a rug. There was no rug pull.
3%.
You're defaming our character.
Are you not gonna let me talk?
No,
You,
they're
you
not.
just talk over me. You talk over me.
I'm hearing bullshit.
Yeah, these
They're not gonna let him talk at all.
people were completely unhinged, unwilling to take any accountability, and we'll talk more to them in a second, but I want to break down the Hawk Tuah scam. I think people are confused with this kind of stuff. I want to start with the big tweet that kind of set it all off. That would be this by Bubble Maps, which showed 96% of the supply was controlled by the team and was being sent out to a bunch of smaller wallets. The implication being that some of them might be dumping on you. Pretty quickly, the Hawk Tuah girl came in to copy and paste what her team told her to say.
Copy pasta this, you'll be fine. It'll
Which
be
said
good.
team hasn't sold one token and not one key opinion leader was given one free token. We tried to stop snipers as best we could through high fees at the start of the launch. And so you see their awful tokenomics here. Along with this response, the team hasn't sold one token, and then they post obviously a screenshot of a lot of sells from insiders who did not have to pay. You can
Good
see on
job,
the bot
Bubble
side,
Maps.
there's nothing, and then on the sold side, they're making a lot of money. So how did you get free tokens? Well, you were an insider, right? And I just want to show you exactly how the Hawk Tuah team is sort of lying by omission here when they say the team hasn't sold one token. And that's because they pre-sold the tokens, guys. They sold them to a bunch of investors with a pre-sale, and then those people were unlocked immediately upon launch. So you can see that with her tokenomics here. It says Haley's locked for 12 months, but you can see the strategic allocation is fully unlocked immediately on token generation event. Now, I spoke to some people who bought into this pre-sale. They say they got in
Why
at
would
16
you buy
points.
in? See, I'm sorry. Why would you buy a coin that's the Hawk Tuah
$69
coin?
million total valuation, which means that if they sold out the whole 17%, you're looking at about $2.8 million raised by pre-selling these tokens.
Right.
So it is essentially a lie to say her team didn't sell tokens. Well, they pre-sold them, and then those investors dumped on your fans. That's the problem. Because Bubble Map says we found 285 investors join the Hawk pre-sale. That's about what I saw as well. 89 wallets sold 100% on launch.
Wow.
47 sold over 50%. Anyway, you can see in total, $3.3 million were sold. Again, as you'll see, on mostly Haley Welsh's fans, or Hawk Tuah Girls fans. And I know what you're thinking. Who falls for this? Well, unfortunately, with situations like this, they're not targeting crypto bros.
No.
They're mostly targeting, like, actual fans who've never been involved in the crypto space before.
Yeah, they want their fan base to buy this coin. They don't want it's fatherless behavior.
They don't know any better, and you're going to hear
They don't
the
want
guy
this-
behind a
the-
lot of
the
this say that
actual
explicitly.
crypto
These are
knowledge
people
or
that are outside of
experience.
crypto that we're going to be onboarding, and they don't give a shit. They don't even know what a market cap is. They just go, oh, cool, free coin. Now I get to join a community. Cool, done.
Not only did they say it, they sold it in a pitch deck. You can see the Hawk deck here. Massive onboarding event. Hawk will onboard normies. So that's why I just don't buy this thought of, oh, well, you know, if you bought this, you deserve to get scammed. Okay, fine. But a lot of the people who bought it had never bought crypto before. They were
What?
targeting those people. They said as much in our call. Now, the other part of this scam that I really need to break down because people don't understand it exactly is the fee scam, okay? When this launched, they had 15% fees on trading. They said that this was to stop snipers. But basically what this means, and because the team now blames snipers for a lot of this rug pull, but what it means is they benefited the entire way. You can see in 24 hours, they made almost $2 million from this fee. Meanwhile, on Dex Screener, you can see the sniper, which is the #1 trader on this coin. They made about $1.3 million in their total profits and loss. So they actually made less in total profits, this sniper that ruined the project, than the team made on fees. I, of course,
That's ridiculous. I don't believe there's a sniper
who
involved
benefited.
at all.
Did Hawk
And I
Tuah
don't
make
know
the money?
shit about
Who
this
made the
shit.
money in this whole thing? And they essentially dodged the question. Who's making millions of dollars on fees from this rug pull?
That's not a scheme. That's the
Who's making fees?
So we can keep this thing going for years. Okay. That's how do you think? There's so many expenses.
Who makes the money on the fees? Someone just made over $1 million on fees. Who made it?
First of all, the fees were there with Meteora pools.
Who made the fees?
And that goes to, yes, the creator, right?
Which is who? Who does that own? Who does that belong to?
That belongs to the project.
Who's the project? Who is the project?
Well, the project is over here, Haley Welch, right? And
how much does Haley Welch own?
This is Haley Welch's project.
So she owns most of it? Is that what you're saying?
CoffeeZilla.
I'm just trying to figure out who owns it.
Do you know how much it costs for lawyer fees to create a foundation in the Cayman Islands, to hire directors? You think this stuff pays for itself? You know, this is how you run a project forever. Is you have to fund that. And first of all, over here can speak to the extensive amount of work and time and people that are on this project. Over here has around 18 people working on this right now as we speak. This is not a small time type of nothing. We're really trying to do something here and not just do it for one day and do it for 2 days.
So who made the money? You haven't answered the question. Who made the money? How much did Haley Welch make of that million, 1.8 million?
It's a foundation that is running this project.
How much does she own of it?
It's a foundation. She owns zero of the foundation.
So y'all made the money?
No, I don't own the foundation either. A foundation.
Brother, who profited? Over $1 million was just made.
A foundation that pays people out. And by the way, CoffeeZilla, I'm not asking you, questions that are irrelevant to the most important stuff that you said.
What kind of weird, random loop talk is this?
Who cares where fees go? It goes to bills.
You heard him right. Who cares where millions of dollars went? Supposedly, they have 18 people working on the Hawk Tuah meme token. So, I don't know if that's true, but that's at least what they're claiming. Now, the last thing I need to say before we jump into this context that you need is that there are 4 groups to look out for here. 1, you have Hawk Tuah Girl, who is promoting this thing. 2, you have this guy, Doc Hollywood, who is like Howie Mandel's son-in-law or something like that. Like, he's this guy who has some connections in Hollywood, and he seems to be the guy connecting Hawk Tuah Girl with crypto, and he said he was teaching her a meme coin class, okay? And he goes unhinged on her call. 3, you have the guys running the crypto token, and 4, you have the insiders who paid money to get early access to this coin and then are rug pulling a lot of Haley Welch's fans. What you want to make of that, who you exactly want to assign blame to, is up to you. A lot of people are saying, oh, she didn't know any better. She's getting taken advantage of. Maybe. Or maybe she's making a ton of money.
No, I don't think so.
So, with that said, I just want to show you the call last night. That is what I knew going into this call. And you'll see my questions target some of these different aspects of what I believe to be a scam in this call. And the last thing I have to say is that when they did do this call, they monologued for like 12 to 15 minutes before they let anyone up. So I was extremely frustrated by the time I got up. I think you'll hear a little bit of that in my voice. Not only that, this Doc Hollywood guy called people mentally ill. He said that people should be thanking him or kissing his butt, basically, for doing this for them, as if he's doing them a favor. Basically, generally berating the people who had maybe lost money in this. And so quite frustrating to go into. And, well, anyway, enjoy.
Everyone thinks that, oh, everything's a rug. Everything's a rug. Everyone's here to you. Nah, we're here to onboard real.
Well, because most things are a rug.
People outside of this spaces, right? The people here, you guys are already y'all are ahead every day thinking everything's a scam. And you know what? You guys are right. Everything is a scam, but not this. Not this.
Everything is a scam, but not this. Everything except this is a scam. Trust us, bro.
Did not spend 6-7 months of our lives dedicated to trying to do something cool, right? To do something different, not dumping on you, not bundle snipes, not 100% of the liquidity or whatever was bundle sniped by the team and propped up charts. You guys are not the target audience. Sorry to say, right? This is not the target audience.
Who's he talking to?
The target audience, which is why I'm even doing this, which is what's cool about it, is it's not in this spaces. And listen, most of you, we don't want you in the community. Let's be.
Oh, fuck. Most of you, we don't even want you here. You plebs, you pleb peasants, we don't want you around.
People, I don't know y'all, right? I see some friendly faces in this audience.
He's having a meltdown.
You know, I'm gonna say y'all, you guys, right? There's a lot of negativity in the space. I think crypto brings the mentally ill into this thing, right? If you guys are in crypto, you're most likely mentally ill. And I'm gonna count myself as mentally ill for even being here right now. We're trying to actually have fun. We're trying to do something cool. We're trying to give meme tokens away for free to people who have never had any crypto before, any meme token. And you guys should be kissing my ass because I'm trying to do something dope.
Yeah, so that's how all of this started. I had watched as people got wrecked on chain, and then I go here in the actual space that's supposed to address everything, a guy berating everyone, calling them mentally ill and telling them they should be thanking him. And that's what led to sort of my attitude when I went up on stage. Also, Twitter Spaces is horrible for doing this kind of work. I normally wouldn't choose it, but all these guys seem to love Twitter Spaces. I don't know why. The problem is people filibuster. So I know I interrupted a lot. That's because you can't let these people go run off on like 10-hour explanations, which they will do if you let them. So, yeah, anyway, here's when I got up on the space.
Happy to answer any
I
questions.
have questions. I have questions. I'm raising my hand. Hey, guys.
What, CoffeeZilla?
Hey, this is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, then why the fuck are you on?
I've been tracing it on chain for a while. You guys generated over $1 million in fees while y'all's fans got rug pulled. There was snipers, but there was also insider trading directly linked to y'all's creator account. What are you guys doing?
That's a good question. That's a valid question.
That's not true.
And he's been watching it.
That's a fact.
No, it's not.
Well, it's a fact, and you can see it on chain. So
yeah, we know. We trust me. We were there. We could answer that.
You know about the insider trading?
No, there's no insider trading. That's why we can answer it.
Okay, so there's tokens going directly from the main account.
CoffeeZilla, just chill for a second.
Oh, please. Just chill, dude.
And then it's getting sold for $50K. Who is that?
Definitely not us. You think we're doing this for $50K? Yeah, fucking right. Talking to the wrong guy. You're used to these bullshit scammers out here. Not us. Now,
but everyone says, by the way.
Listen, doesn't matter. I'm not everyone.
Not us. We're different.
There was a strategic allocation, right, through a foundation. Every single one of those was signed through a SAFT. The deployer wallet. You've heard of a strategic allocation or a private
How much
sale?
did y'all get doing a pre-sale? How much did y'all make?
It's not that we
selling out your
made.
fans. So other
Over here,
people
can you give
dump on your fans.
Hold on, CoffeeZilla, take a chill pill, brother.
Oh my god. I love how they're like, you gotta take a chill pill, brother. CoffeeZilla, just calm down.
Yeah, so
Y'all just rug pulled a bunch of people.
No, there's no rug. We're here every single day. There's no rug pulled, and it's not done by us. Yes, snipers sniped it up to an insane market cap.
No, it's
and
not
dumped
just
it.
snipers.
That was not us. That was
You know that.
Listen, no. I'm telling you the truth.
And y'all made millions on fees from this little scheme.
There's not a.
I'm sure that's not you getting those fees,
it's
right?
Not a
Who's making the money on the fees? Who's making millions of dollars on fees from this rug pull?
That's not a scheme. That's the project. So we can keep this thing going for years. Okay. That's how do you think? There's so many expenses.
Who makes the money on the fees? Someone just made over $1 million on fees.
He's just trying to get an answer out of this guy. And he keeps doing this roundabout bullshit.
Who made it?
It's a project.
First of all,
it's
the
a foundation.
fees were there with Meteora pools, and that goes to the creator, right?
Which is who? Who does that? Who does that belong to?
That belongs to the project, right?
Who's the project? Who is the project?
Well, the project is over here, Haley Welch, right? And
how much does Haley Welch own?
This is Haley Welch's project.
So she owns all of it.
CoffeeZilla.
Did she just make $1 million on fees on a rug?
Do you know how?
Stop telling Coffee to take a chill pill and answer his goddamn question.
How much it costs for lawyer fees to create a foundation in the Cayman Islands, to hire directors? You think this stuff pays for itself? Right?
So y'all wanted to make the money on day one? I don't understand. I'm just asking.
We're here every single day.
Millions of dollars
Day one,
in fees from the
day
rug.
two, day three. You know, this is how you run a project forever. Is you have to fund that. And first of all, over here can speak to the extensive amount of work and time and people that are on this project. Over here has around 18 people working on this right now as we speak. This is not a small time type of nothing. We're really trying to do something here and not just do it for one day and do it for 2 days like you're used to.
So who made the money? You haven't answered the question.
Yeah, he's not. He's just dancing. He's literally just dancing on this around this question. It's so pathetic.
Of that million, 1.8 million?
It's a foundation that is running this project.
How much does she own of it?
It's a foundation. She owns zero of the foundation.
So y'all made the money?
No, I don't own the foundation either.
Then who does? It's you can't just have a foundation that it doesn't have an owner.
Foundation in the Cayman Islands.
Who profited? Over $1 million was just made.
I'm telling you, a foundation that pays people
and
out.
Who
And by the
owns
way,
it?
CoffeeZilla, I'm not asking you, questions that are irrelevant to the most important stuff that you said. Who cares where fees go? It goes to bills. It goes
When you're
to
charging
attorneys.
50%,
What do you mean who cares where fees
you're charging
go?
50% on the rug pull, and you're profiting from the
There's
rug
no
pull.
rug pull because we didn't pull a rug. I don't know what you're trying to say. It's not true. Yeah, that's defamation.
Doc,
you're saying,
do the math. Do the math.
Defamation. You're saying that we pulled a rug. There was no rug pull. You're defaming our character. It's bullshit.
You're defaming our character. Oh, please. You're the ones who's stolen all this money.
I'm hearing bullshit.
No, you're not. You're talking over me. Let me just lay out your tokenomics. You guys released 3% to the Meteora pool, while you have 17% of the token allocation unlocked day one from your strategic allocation. Are you guys insane? What do you guys think exactly is going to happen when your insiders get sent their tokens? Yeah. And by the way, who made the money from your 17% pre-sale while you're giving a tiny piece of the pie to the public? Like, what the hell? This is the worst tokenomics I've ever seen, and it is a scam.
It's not a scam.
The tokenomics are a scam.
It's not a scam. That's how he just said. It sounded. It's not a scam.
That's my opinion. You can say whatever you want about it. You can cry defamation. That's my opinion. It's a scam. And I only do this for a living. I've only seen 1 million of these projects.
Yeah.
So who pays you, CoffeeZilla? Let's.
Ooh, turn it around.
Ooh, who pays you, CoffeeZilla? Fucking my members, my Patreons, my fucking
Turn it around. Nobody's here for me. Everyone's here for you. Where did the fees go? Where did the money for the pre-sale tokens go? Why did y'all unlock day one so people could dump on Haley Welsh's fans? And how involved was she really? And how much money is she making from all this? What's her cut? I just got muted. So yeah, that was the conversation. Obviously, I got a little heated there towards the end because, I don't know, there was something about this guy berating people who had lost money and insisting that what was so transparently true about the fees being made, about who's benefiting from the pre-sale, just dodging all of that. It gets me so bothered. I guess it shouldn't at this point, but you know, what can I say? I'm only human. I will go ahead and highlight there were two other moments. FaZe Banks got up and called these guys out, which is funny.
This 100% was a mismanaged, mislaunched. Like this is took what CoffeeZilla said. I would label this a scam as well.
That's funny. They're getting called out by a FaZe clan member. That's funny.
It's pretty obvious. Like CoffeeZilla brought up, 97% of the token was bundled into the same cluster. And in layman's terms, that just basically means 90%. 97% of all the tokens owned were by related wallets, friends of friends of friends of friends. They were
No,
like,
no, that's not true.
Yeah.
Yes, it is true.
False.
Yes, no, it's 100% true.
And then also Nick O'Neill, who is another crypto Twitter guy, he got up there and he asked them basically what I did because they wouldn't let me back up on the space. And he said, where's the money going to? And then Tuah girl, decided it was time for bed, and that was the end of the space.
Wait, so not only did she decide that it was time for bed, but she actually ended the
So I'm
space.
curious,
That's funny.
like, not for the token price itself, but just in terms of the fact that there's fees that are being generated, there's an actual
Hey
source
guys,
of income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay. For talking over here.
Can you imagine being asked questions about a scam, and in the middle of the questioning you go,
Just good night.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hit the bed, you know?
Good night. I'm done talking. I'm tired of all these questions about scams. Good night.
Gotta wake up bright and early for tomorrow. That is just wild. These people are not serious, or at least it doesn't appear that they're taking it very seriously. I think it's concerning when you have a project which, they can say whatever they want about their 18 employees and all the, hundreds of thousands they supposedly paid to set up these, Cayman Island corps to do it the right way. But at the end of the day, when you make millions of dollars on launch, where does that come from? When your insiders sell $3 million, where does that come from? Maybe the normies that you were targeting to get in?
Yeah, no shit.
That is...
The quote-unquote normal people, the quote-unquote normies you were trying to fuck over.
Problem. That is my issue, and that's why I came at them so hard. And that's basically it. I think Haley Welsh, or Tuah girl, to whatever extent she was involved is still unclear, or was unclear until her transactional entertainment lawyer contacted me. I'm just editing this live, guys. He contacted me and said he wants to have a offline combo. I said I can't do that. This is a live story. If she wants to comment on the story or shed light on how much she's been paid, kindly respond. I'll put up all these screenshots. They say she was paid in advance from a company to handle the token marketing dev launch of $125,000. That's the only money she's seen to date. If you have any specific questions, happy to answer. I said, what company was she paid by? What's the agreement? Did she see a cut of the pre-sale or fees from the liquidity pool? The best thing for my story is to get a copy of the agreement, of course. Christian replies, she was supposed to get 50% of net proceeds after payments of costs to third parties. Is that the 18 employees or whatever they have? I don't know. I don't know what costs they have, but 50% is a lot.
50%. That's crazy. Just for all of that, that's nuts.
They were supposed to be mutually approved between her
For
and the
all
company.
that
All
fake
decisions regarding
coin.
to allocation were supposed to be mutually approved. Those decisions haven't been made at this point. The goal would be to salvage the token for the holders and her true fans and do right by the community. That's not going to happen.
No.
I can't provide the actual contract, as you can imagine, but I'm happy to continue to be responsive. Your spaces and comments have been helpful. Blah blah blah. I appreciate what you. Okay, we all know. They always say that, by the way. This guy does not appreciate what I do. I don't.
No. By no means does he appreciate what Coffee's doing.
You know, an entertainment lawyer appreciating somebody talking about somebody. I don't think that's true. Look, the big deal, what he said, is 50% net proceeds. That's a lot, actually. Yeah. Now, again, 18 employees working on the Hawk Tuah coin. I don't know how much they're going to end up seeing at the end of the day, but it's going to be real money. The question about, like, salvage the coin, want to salvage the coin. Guys, the problem is you've sold millions of dollars of pre-sale tokens, and they're still out there. There's still people with these coins who are waiting to sell. So the second you go and salvage it for the fans, you're kind of dooming them again. So the best situation is just people, I don't really.
Don't buy. Don't buy. You should not have bought. That's the thing. These people should not have bought. And I kind of feel sorry, but at the same time I don't, because it's crypto coin and it's the Hawk Tuah girl, and it's, I don't know, I just don't feel sad for these people. Like, it's a lot of money, yeah, but I don't get it. I don't feel the sadness. All right. Oh, wow. No wonder I'm so tired. It's almost midnight already. Well, I guess we're not going to be playing some Mortal Kombat, because I'm falling asleep. So I'm going to end. I will see you guys tomorrow for the afternoon stream and videos and such like. So I hope you guys have a fun night. Thank you for watching this shit show, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic night. Bye, everyone.